Hi everyone, welcome back to Gluten Free Habit. I'm Linda, and today I'm going to show you how to make this gluten-free, sweet and tangy orange chicken. If you love orange chicken as much as I do, and you can't pick it up from your local restaurant because they don't have a gluten-free option, then maybe you want to give this gluten-free version a try. And if you're not familiar with orange chicken, it's just like the name sounds. It's sweet, it's tangy, and it's loaded with flavor. But before I dive into the recipe, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been liking and subscribing. I appreciate you guys so much. And I love that you're enjoying the recipes. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you'll take a minute to do that so you don't miss any of the new videos. And be sure to click the bell icon to turn on notifications. The full recipe for gluten-free, sweet and tangy orange chicken can be found on my website at GlutenFreeHabit.com. Okay, let's take a look at the ingredients. You'll need some boneless, skinless chicken breast, white rice flour, cornstarch, salt, a couple of eggs, light brown sugar, granulated sugar, orange juice, vinegar, sesame oil, cooking oil, gluten-free soy sauce, red pepper, fresh ginger, and some garlic. A couple optional ingredients would be green onions and sesame seeds, just if you'd like to garnish your chicken. And some tools to make the cooking easier, a slotted spoon, and a cooking thermometer. Okay, let's get a few things ready. Start by finely chopping your onions if you're planning on using any. And just put those into a bowl and set them aside. Next, mince your garlic. And the trick to getting the skin off each clove is just to set down the clove, put the flat part of your knife on top, and give it a firm tap with the heel of your hand. And as you see, the skin comes right off. As you're working, you might notice that the garlic can get really sticky on your fingers, so you might want to have a damp paper towel nearby just to wipe them off. Make a bunch of cuts lengthwise, and a single cut horizontally. And then when you cut in the opposite direction, your garlic is minced. Okay, scoop that up, put it in a little bowl, and set that aside. Now finely grate your ginger. I accidentally didn't have the camera on when I did this, but it's super simple. And this is all we need for the ginger. A little bit goes a long way. Okay, now get your chicken out of the fridge, and we want to cut it up into bite-sized pieces. And this is about the size that I like. A tip for cutting up your chicken is just make sure it's really cold. When it's a little bit firmer like that, it's just easier to handle. Sometimes I even put mine into the freezer for about 10 or 15 minutes just to firm it up. And I recommend cutting the chicken the day before you cook, just to make the process easier. When I make orange chicken, I love to do a double batch because it really doesn't take that much more effort and it heats up really well in the microwave. And once you've cut up your chicken, put it in a bowl, and it goes back into the fridge. And of course, wash your hands thoroughly after handling chicken. Okay, let's get started. Set out 2 medium-sized bowls. Into the first bowl, crack your eggs. And add a tablespoon of water. And whisk that up really well. And then in the second bowl, you want to put in your white rice flour, cornstarch, and salt. And whisk that up too. Now into your Ziploc bag, add 1/4 cup of cornstarch and set that aside. Get your chicken out of the fridge and lay down a couple paper towels. Now dump your chicken onto the paper towels and pat the chicken dry. Just move the chicken pieces around a little bit and make sure they're thoroughly dry. This step is really important because it helps the coating to stick to the chicken as we're frying it. We definitely don't want to lose any of that yummy coating. Now put all your chicken into the Ziploc bag. Zip it up, and now shake the bag up a little bit and roll it around, and make sure that everything is thoroughly coated. Okay, it's time to make a little assembly line. Your chicken goes on one side, and then the egg bowl, then the flour bowl, and then set out an empty plate where you can put all the coated pieces. Okay, let's get this chicken coated. Take out about 4 or 5 pieces from the bag. And as you're pulling the chicken out of the bag, shake it in your hand a little bit to let the excess flour fall off. And dunk those into the egg bowl. Then remove them and put them into the flour bowl. And something I like to do is use one hand for the egg bowl and one hand for the flour bowl, so that way I'm not getting egg into the flour and flour into the egg, because that can make it very messy. And gently pat the flour coating into each piece of chicken, and then transfer it over to your plate. And continue this process until all the chicken is coated. Okay, so now we have a full plate of coated chicken. This will go into the fridge for 30 minutes, and in the meantime, we can make our sauce. Start by putting on a sauté pan or a large frying pan over medium heat, and it does need to be large because we will eventually transfer the chicken into this pan to coat the chicken with sauce. Now add in your cooking oil, sesame oil, red pepper, garlic, and your ginger, and then stir that around for just a minute or two. Now add in your brown sugar, granulated sugar, orange juice, soy sauce, and vinegar. Stir that up and bring it to a simmer. And you'll notice that the sauce is very liquidy at this point, and that's okay. That's exactly the way it should be. We'll thicken it up in a minute with a cornstarch slurry. My family likes the strong tangy flavor in this recipe, but if you prefer a little bit less tang, you can reduce the vinegar a little bit. Okay, to make your slurry, just mix together a little cornstarch and water. And when the slurry is completely smooth, then pour it in slowly as you're whisking the sauce. And you'll feel the sauce start to thicken. And make sure that you put in the cornstarch as a slurry combined with the water, because if you put the cornstarch directly into the sauce, you'll wind up with lumpy sauce. Let the sauce continue to simmer and it will thicken even more, and whisk it once in a while and check on the consistency. Okay, this looks like a really good consistency. It's clinging to the spoon, so I know it's going to coat our chicken very nicely. And then when it's at the consistency that you prefer, then pull it off the heat and cover it up. All right, let's cook the chicken. Set out a wok or a large pot, and as you can see, I've added my thermometer. First, pour in your cooking oil and slowly heat it up. I like to heat mine on medium until it reaches a temperature of about 350 degrees. Once your oil is heated, carefully add the chicken. And you can use tongs for this to keep your hands further away from the oil, but do that carefully so that you don't scrape off any of the coating. You want the oil to be hot enough to have a real good sizzle when you drop the chicken in, but not so hot that it'll burn it. You'll probably need to cook your chicken in 2 separate batches like I'm doing here, because you don't want to overcrowd the pot. Cooking time for these will vary depending on how thick your chicken is, but for the size pieces I'm using, I usually cook them between 4 and 5 minutes total. And at the halfway point, just flip your chicken over. To see if your chicken is done, a good rule of thumb is to take the thickest piece and cut it open and make sure that it's thoroughly cooked. Okay, these are all done. Just scoop out the chicken and put it on a paper towel-lined plate to drain. Continue this process until all the chicken is cooked. Now carefully add your chicken into your saucepan. It's still really hot from the oil, so be very careful. Now gently stir it around and spoon the sauce over the chicken until every piece is thoroughly coated. This recipe will make about 4 servings, which is roughly 40 pieces. But this of course will vary depending on how large your chicken pieces are. And it goes great with fried rice. Now set out a serving platter and onions or sesame seeds if you'd like to garnish the chicken, and spoon it onto your platter. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please do me a favor and click the thumbs up down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you'll do that. And I love hearing from you guys, so please feel free to say hi in the comment section down below and let me know what you think of the recipe. Now top with green onions, sesame seeds, or both. And there you go, gluten-free, sweet and tangy orange chicken. I think it's time to eat. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time on Gluten Free Habit.